Hi, I'm Maya. I'm a project coordinator at Another Chance to Bridge the Gap, and I'm here to talk to you about social media marketing. Now, if you haven't yet, it would be a good idea to go back and watch our previous video on basic marketing concepts. It's not essential, but there are a few terms that I'm going to be using that we've already talked about. So if you have time, please go back and watch our previous video. So what is social media? Well, that's a little bit hard to define because each social media site is different. Twitter is different from Instagram, is different from Facebook. But one thing they all have in common is they are a way for people to talk and interact with each other online. So it used to be that marketing was very much a one-way street. A company would put out an ad or a commercial and customers would see it. The company might have done some market research, it might have done some focus groups, but ultimately it was really going one way from the company out to the people. What social media marketing allows you to do is it allows you to build relationships so that marketing is actually a two-way street. So that it goes out from the company and people give you feedback and you take that feedback in. The ultimate prize, the holy grail of social media marketing is advocacy. That is when your customers, when other people who aren't in your marketing department start advertising for you. It's word of mouth. It's when someone is so thrilled with what a great job you did that they go out and tell all their friends. They become an advocate for you. That is really what you want. There are a lot of different ways to turn people into advocates, but it's really all about building a relationship with them. So one of the ways to do that is through customer service. That is through answering questions, through giving support, through making sure that whatever you are selling them works as smoothly as possible, that they are really pleased when they walk away. The next term we're going to talk about is feedback. This is customers telling you what they think. Now, it's not just important to listen to the feedback that you're getting. You also want to go over to your competitors and see the feedback that people are telling them. This can allow you to kind of cut off a problem before it starts. It can allow you to see what other people are doing wrong. It can allow you to see what other people are doing right. Now I'm going to make a separate video specifically about how to generate content and how to build user relationships. But just so you know, content is essentially what you post on social media. So how do you measure success in social media marketing? Well, there are a few different ways, and you have to have patience. It's possible that something you do will go viral and on day 2 you'll have 3 million followers, but it's not that likely. Really, this is about building relationships, about slowly becoming a member of the community. So the first way to measure success in social media is by the number of followers you have. This is a very easy thing to do in most social media sites. Usually it'll be right next to your profile name. It's just the number of people who you're reaching, who the word is getting out to. The next way to measure success in social media is through engagement. Now, if you're working with Another Chance, probably you'll be using something called Hootsuite. I'll be providing a tutorial on the basics of Hootsuite later. Hootsuite provides some really useful metric tools that allow you to measure engagement. Metrics is just basically measuring how well you're doing. Engagement includes shares, retweets, comments. It's how much people are interacting with you. It's how much effort they're putting in, how much of their time they are giving to you. The next term we're going to talk about is click-through rate, or CTR. Now, click-through rate is a good way of measuring how successful you are at social media marketing based on how often people are clicking on the links that you're posting. A lot of times in social media marketing, your goal is to be guiding people to a particular place. You are trying to get people to click on the links that you're posting. Click-through rate. So a higher click-through rate means a higher percentage of people are clicking on the links that you're posting. Now, don't get depressed if your click-through rate is like 1%. Click-through rates are always pretty low. I mean, if you think about it, the number of links that you see in a day, how many of them are you actually clicking? Not that many. But you still want as high a click-through rate as you can get, and you can boost your click-through rates by making links look interesting, by making them look engaging, by making them look valuable. So the final concept I'm going to talk about is something called funnel marketing. This isn't specifically social media, but it is very useful in terms of visualizing exactly what we're trying to do with social media marketing. So funnel marketing can be visualized very much like a funnel. At the top is awareness. Your first goal is to make people aware that you even exist. Before anyone can buy anything you're selling, they have to know you're there. So this is the biggest group of people. It's the top of the funnel, it's the widest, it's where the most people are, and it's the first step. The next level down in the funnel is called consideration. This is people thinking about doing what you want them to do. So for instance, if you're selling something, first they need to be aware that you exist, then they need to think about buying it. The final and bottom and smallest rung of the funnel is decision. This is people pulling the trigger saying, okay, I'm gonna do it. So at each level of the funnel, you need to be thinking about a couple different things. The first thing is, how do they become aware of what I want them to know? So in awareness, the highest level of the funnel, how do they find out about me? It can be done through advertising, it can be done through starting conversations on blogs like Reddit, it can be done through a variety of different means, but you need to get them that information. Next step is, how do they get the information in terms of the consideration part of the funnel? So this is probably them comparing you to your competitors. This is, I want them to know why they should pick me, why I am the best. The third level of the funnel, decision, is all about helping them figure out how to do what you want them to do. So if it's buying something, it's making the buying process as easy as possible. It's no good if they know you exist, they know you're better than their competitors, and then they can't figure out how to buy your product. Part of funnel marketing is kind of continually nudging people on to the next step. Now, not everyone is going to proceed from one step directly to another step. That's why it's a funnel, because you're losing people along the way. You're not going to be able to make every single person who becomes aware of you to buy your product. Say 10% of people who become aware of you are going to buy your product. Well, then you want to make as many people aware of you as possible, so that number, that 10%, is as big as you can get it. So you want to be constantly nudging people towards the next level of the funnel. If they're aware of you, you want to start nudging them towards considering buying what you're selling. If they're considering buying what you're selling, you want to be nudging them towards pulling the trigger and actually buying. So here's some general advice on social media marketing. It really is all about building relationships with people. And a lot of the rules that apply to building relationships in real life, to making friends, really apply in social media marketing too. One of the first ones is you have to have a passion for the community you are entering. If you hate books and reading and you're working in another chance publishing, it's going to drive you nuts to be spending all day in forums talking about books and reading. But if you really love that, then it will be much more natural for you to be able to get really involved in these communities, to be able to follow the news that is happening in these communities, to be able to react, to have opinions, to become authority figures in these communities. So the reason I'm making these videos is because we feel like we can teach you the basics of marketing. What we can't teach you is having that passion, and that's what we really need you to bring to the table. Another thing you really need to have in social media marketing is authenticity. You need to be honest. You need to acknowledge what we are and what we are not. For instance, I don't know if you remember when McDonald's did that whole "we're healthy now" thing. People didn't like it at all. I mean, it was just not viable. Consumers can smell inauthenticity, and they don't like it. They want you to be you. They want you to accept who you are. So hopefully if you're in this, you have a little bit of experience with social media. You've been on it before. Now think about what you like, what makes you follow someone. It's always about bringing value, bringing something interesting to the table. The truth is there isn't really a magic trick for tricking people into following you, for tricking people into listening. You have to be saying something worth hearing. So what does that mean in practice? That means don't just be posting 80 times a day, "buy our thing." Don't spam people, don't be annoying, contribute to the conversation, be a part of the community, be yourself, and bring what you love to the table. So in my next video, I'm going to be going over some real concrete ways to come up with content and to build relationships.